Explores the Sky is often considered one of the peaks of the Mystery Dungeon franchise. From the story to its characters, the game offers quite a lot to fans of the series. And with the recent addition of Red Rescue Team on the Nintendo Switch online subscription, plenty of players are starting to get into this series. About a year ago, I produced a video talking about some ways to help players getting into Red Rescue Team. At the time, I was still getting the hang of editing and content creation. As such, I do feel it's a bit dated in quality. Now, a year later, I'm back for the sequel. For those who haven't seen the video before, you won't have to worry. Those who haven't played the game can jump right into this one without any worry. None of the Mystery Dungeon games are connected in any way, so don't feel like you have to play them in order. Before I go any further, I just want to point out that this will be a mostly spoiler-free video. So without any further ado, let's get right into business. At the start, you will be answering questions to determine your starter. For the most part, you can clear the game with any of them just fine. Skitty and Pikachu are generally considered the cream of the crop, so if you're hesitant, you can't go wrong with either of them. But I'll also list some other great options here too. To get the starter you want, you'll need to make sure you give specific answers. Since the starters are tied to personality, you can just look up the answers to ensure you get what you want. After that, you can select whatever partner you wish. The game isn't the most difficult, so as long as you have a good grasp on its mechanics, you'll have a fun time. Speaking of, compared to its predecessor, the mechanics remain mostly the same. If you played Red Rescue Team, you'll know what you're in for. Traverse your randomly generated dungeons and battle through wild Pokemon. Compared to the regular games, there's a few key differences to keep in mind, the most obvious being the lack of a speed stat. Instead, there's a mechanic known as movement speed. Normally, Pokemon are only able to take one action per turn. Moves such as Agility and Scary Face will increase or decrease that speed respectively. For each boost in speed, you'll gain an additional action. For each drop, that Pokemon can only take one action every 2 turns. Due to this, having access to such moves is always a blessing. More on moves, most moves generally have a range of 1 tile, which is in front of your Pokemon. However, moves such as Growl can affect the entire room you're in. Others, such as Razor Leaf, can reach up to 10 tiles away. Status moves can also have a large impact on your success, though when I say status moves, 2 in particular are objectively the best. Paralysis reduces a Pokemon's travel speed and can use attacks. Sleep will cause a Pokemon to not take any actions for up to 3 to 6 turns, so try to inflict those statuses whenever you can. Another important mechanic to understand is IQ. It's just as you think it is. Bigger brain means unlocking new abilities. Each Pokemon will belong to a corresponding IQ group, which will affect what IQ abilities they can unlock. However, the process to get each Pokemon to max IQ is rather time consuming. The amount of points you gain ranges from 1 to 4 based on the color of the gummy and the corresponding type of the Pokemon. It's recommended that you really not try to worry too much about this. IQ will only really start to matter in the post-game. Even so, you'll be acquiring gummies naturally throughout your journey. However, don't eat them immediately. Not until you unlock the Spinda Cafe. The Spinda Cafe is a mechanic unique to Explorers the Sky. You'll unlock it starting from Chapter 6, which isn't too far away. It's here that you'll have the option of converting consumable items into drinks. You can convert gummies into gummy drinks that'll gain you the same number of IQ along with a free stat increase. You're also able to exchange items for others with Why Not service. At the moment, you won't be to exchange for much, but keep coming back later. Within the same chapter, as you complete a few more missions, you'll also unlock Electivire's Link Shop. It's at this shop where you're able to remember level up moves free of charge. This can come in handy later on once you acquire higher level recruits, but the more important function is the ability to link moves. For 500 Poke, you can link 2 to even all 4 of your moves. What this does is allow you to use all linked moves at once in a combo. It's a very powerful feature, but there are a few caveats to keep in mind. While you're able to deal some devastating combos, it does mean you're losing PP much faster than normal. It's important to know that you can de-link moves at any time if you feel that you can't afford to waste it. Also, not every move can be linked, so be careful when planning it out. Since you can't control your partner's moves, you also need to keep in mind how they battle. Speaking of, your partner isn't the only thing you can bring into dungeons. Just like in the Rescue Team games, you're able to recruit others to join your team. Starting from Chapter 5, the Chimecho Assembly will be open to you. There are several ways to recruit a Pokemon onto your team. You have the tried and true method of beating wild Pokemon up until one of them wants to join. Alternatively, there's also a chance that a Pokemon can join you after a successful quest, as well as in the Spinda Cafe after you brew some drinks. You won't need to worry about team building for the entire game. It's still possible to get through it with just you and your partner, but it never hurts to have a full party, though it might feel a bit cumbersome having a vast level difference. Thankfully, we have a way around that. Also available in Chapter 5 is the Marowak Dojo. You'll be able to go through a type scene dungeon and traverse through 5 short floors. Each floor will exponentially get stronger and allow you and your team to grind XP without consuming the in-game day. Just remember to empty your bag at the Kangaskhan Bank or else you'll lose everything. The best part is that you'll be able to keep what you find and you won't suffer any penalties for fainting. If you ever find yourself needing a few levels for the main story, this is the place to do it. It's also great if you want to keep gathering items without risk. With that, get out there and enjoy that main story. Explore the Sky is known to have one of the best narratives in the Mystery Dungeon series and the franchise as a whole. From the NPCs to the side characters, there's a charm to it that'll follow you from beginning to even the post-game. Remember to have fun and try not to worry too much about what's optimal. Your first playthrough is the most important and will lead to your general opinions on the game. As long as you keep what I said in mind, you're free to explore and experiment at your leisure. And that is how you enjoy Explorers of Sky. Thank you again for your support. It's been fun replaying a beloved game. It's the first game I featured a DS game on this channel, so I want to improve on the presentation. If you enjoy this format of videos, I'll be glad to make more. Until next time, I wish you all the best of weekends. Have a good one.